Hi guys. So first of all, thank you for all your questions. That's quite a lot of them. Shall we get to it? Oh yeah, one thing.
A few moments later.
Coffee. Okie dokie. Let's go then. So first question from Taco Storm. What is your favorite team to work with and why is it G2? From Ola Klimczak. Most and least favorite place to shoot at. Honestly, I don't think I have like a least favorite. My favorite place honestly was Palacio Vista Alegre in Madrid. I loved the shape of the arena, so it gives quite a lot of opportunities for fun photos. Next one, Alex Weber. What is the non-esport related photography project you want to realize next? Honestly, one of my dreams is to go to a proper NFL match and shoot that. Other than that, I'm planning of doing a sports related shoot with my local kickboxing team. So that's that. What are the do's and don'ts for lighting at events? First of all, from the photographer's standpoint, don't use flash. Don't use any kind of artificial light, especially when you're on stage. Maybe somewhere in the middle of the crowd, sure. Still, it kind of kills the vibe of the venue. The other thing is more of a favor to ask of any org that's doing any kind of events. Please stop using a crap ton of blue and red lights. The RGB spectrum is quite wide, so there are so many beautiful colors except those two. What would you advise to anyone that want to enter the esports photography field? First of all, know your gear, know the limitations of your gear, because esports photography, in my opinion, is one of the hardest ones to do, since we very often shoot in literal darkness. So that's one side of things. And the other thing would be when the world is back to normal after COVID, after we get back our offline lands and events. Just go as an attendee, try and take some kind of photos from your perspective. You can capture amazing shots from the crowd. You can do some crazy wide angles, even being just at the venue. So that's my first tip. The other one would be try to volunteer for an event, get the feel how everything works and stuff like that. I know some of my friends went from being volunteers to staff members to now amazing photographers. So maybe that's the way to go. When I started out like 6 or 7 years ago, there was literally a handful of esports photographers. It was a giant niche, if you can call it like that. So that's that. Nowadays, we have so many amazing photographers doing this stuff. So it's honestly hard, but just go to events, try to do any kind of photos, then work your way up. Build up a portfolio, and I think you're golden. And the last one from Alex. What is your favorite lens and why? It's actually the lens that I'm using right now is the 35-1.4. First of all, I love the 35mm focal length. That's first. Second of all, I tend to shoot at very shallow depth of field, so I love the creamy bokeh that I can get from this lens. So that's that, Alex. Next one from my fellow photographer, Steph. Who is your favorite Swedish person and why is it a tie between me and Reckless? It's definitely not a tie. You win, hands down, Steph. Sorry, Reckless. The next one is from Peter Chow. When can we hang and get some amazing barbecue together? Whenever you're in EU, just... The next one from Zuza Heduk, she's actually a close friend of mine. How do you keep being such a cheerful person all the time? Probably just my nature. Next one from Lara. Favorite LOL champ? Nocturne.
Embrace the darkness.
Next one. Tom. What's your favorite esport photo taken by you? And what's your favorite esport photo taken by someone other than you? My all-time favorite photo that I took is the photo of Uzi when he's practically hugging the MSI trophy, because after so many years being on the professional stage, he finally managed to win an international event. So I think that's by far my favorite one. A photo taken by someone other than me. I would say one from Stephanie Lindgren, and the other one would be from Adela Schneider. The one from Darius from Schalke. Best esports event you've been so far, and did your knowledge in wedding photography translate to esport, or is it completely different beast? So let's start with the first part. Best esports events that I've been so far. I think it's gonna be All Stars in Barcelona 2016. All-time favorite. The crowd, the players from all around the world, it was just amazing. And on the biggest cherry on top, live performance by Pentakill. So, do your knowledge in wedding photography translate into esports? So in wedding and esports photography, we have quite a few similarities, especially the most important one. You cannot recreate a moment. If it's for wedding, you cannot recreate the first kiss, the happiness of the bride or groom when they say their vows in the church. You cannot come up to them, hey, can we do it again? Because I didn't capture the moment, so my bad. No, you can absolutely cannot. You cannot do that. Same goes for esports. When you have a victory moment, when you have the moment when one of the teams just lost, and you didn't manage to capture the pure emotion that comes with that particular moment, it's basically gone. So, yeah, I think there's quite a few similarities, but yeah, definitely yes. The one from my very own Bart. What makes you different from all other esports photographers out there? I don't think I'm that different. Maybe the beard. What makes you so good at photographing the LEC specifically? Tough question, to be honest. I know I play League a lot. I'm not good at it at all. Since I've been doing this for now, this is my 6th year. So I got to know quite a lot of the players. I'm friends with most of them, so that makes my job so much easier. And they're very comfortable. When I'm around, they don't hide from me and so on. So that helps quite a lot. How does your work affect your daily life, family life? If it wasn't for my lovely wife, I wouldn't be able to do this kind of photography at all. Like, she's taking care of our kids, she's taking care of the house. She supported me from the very beginning when I started, when I went to my first event, and that support continues till now. What's the one thing people don't know about photographing esports or the LEC? It's hard. It's actually harder than it looks. Any goals? As I said previously, I would love to shoot an NFL event. I would love to come back to Worlds. It's not happening this year, but hopefully next year we'll manage to get back and take some more photos. Next one, Mr. Pitagorasek. I'm gonna translate that into English. How many photos do you take during one weekend of LEC? Normally I tend to overshoot quite a lot. I'm taking somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 frames from every weekend. And that translates into like 200 photos in the gallery. Do I drink coffee and at what time? Yes, I do. Quite a lot actually. And what time? All the time. What shoes do you wear? Currently, none. I'm not really a shoe guy. I just buy comfy shoes like Nikes or whatever other brand. I don't really care about that. They just have to be comfortable. Other than that, I don't really care. Lord Flab, how many years of practice have you had to perfect your craft? I haven't perfected my craft yet. I'm still working on that. So I've been doing esports photography for more than 6 years now. So I hope that answers that part of the question. Is there any particular event that stands out for you for being most challenging and why? I think the most challenging one was actually my first spring finals with back then the EULCS. It was in Madrid. That was my first big esports event that I got to shoot on stage and so on. So that was kind of the most challenging because I didn't know what to expect yet. On top of that, the lights were kind of difficult. It wasn't that bright and so on. So basically, now I can say the typical esports stuff. What's the best photo you've taken? And I don't mean technical wise, but the photo that made you say, this is why I do it. Again, I think it's going to be the Uzi photo because that photo has a story behind it. And a very good story. Jacob Hammer, easiest LEC player to capture great stills of. Honestly, it's hard to select just one. For me, it's all about the chemistry between me and the person. So as I said previously, I got to know a lot of the players throughout the years of me doing the LEC content. But I would say Reckless, Broxa, Cold, Xerxes, Perks, Jankos, Wonder, Humanoid, Shadow. We have a lot of players that are really good looking. Bartek Kuczyński, have you ever tried to take some pictures using Polaroid or any instant cameras? Yes, we used to have a Polaroid when I was 5-ish, 10-ish, something like that. So yeah, any instant cameras, not really a big fan of. So yeah, no. Next question, Carolina. Do you have a favorite team in the LEC? Not really. I love working with all of the teams, and I'm happy to say that I worked with most of them, even outside the studio. Do you have any players or caster you like taking pictures of the most? When it comes to the Honor Talent team, they are such an amazing group of people. I love them to death. I love taking photos of them. I love working with them. So I don't have a clear favorite. I love taking photos of all of them. Same goes to the players. Next one from, oh my God. I'm really sorry, dude. I'm gonna butcher your name. Kilan. Will you ever branch out into doing more esports events when LANs start popping back up? Definitely, like one of the events that I would love to go is IEM Katowice. I would love to do more CSGO and especially some fighting games like Smash Bros, Tekken, all of the other titles. Like I love the raw emotions that comes from CS, from fighting games and so on. Like League is a very specific game, to be honest. It's very calculated, and I don't get that much opportunities for capturing like raw emotions, except maybe for finals, playoffs, stuff like that. So it's quite difficult and slightly different than most people think. Okay, next question. W lol. Favorite esport player? I love them all. Matthias, what's your top 3 tips for someone who wants to start shooting events? Again, know your gear, know the limitations, portfolio. How do you trim your beard? And has quarantine had an effect on trimming? No, I use a beard trimmer and I just go to the barber. What was your first esport event gig? Gamescom 2014, shooting for Riot Games at the community part of the show. Irena, top 3 easiest to work with LEC players. Again, all of the players are super nice to me, so I don't have an issue with any of them. I love working with every single one of them. Okay, the next one is from Agus. Has there been a moment where you've been too away of the moment in front of you to take a shot, like player crying, celebrating, or maybe an opening scene that was just surprising? When it comes to moments like that, I try my best to be a professional, so I like hide my emotions as deep as I can, so that does not interfere with my work. When it comes to opening scenes or ceremonies, stuff like that, we are always prepared, so we're not surprised. I still remember the 2019 opening ceremony, which was just bonkers, and it was amazing to look at, but still had to take photos of that. Michał Sieruski, what has improved you or your life the most? Wife. What was the most challenging event so far? My first finals with back then the EULCS, it was in Madrid, Palacio Vistalegre. Just because it was my first event like that, that was the most challenging part of it. What's the hardest part about taking live pictures at events? Also, does it bother you as a pro that most people think that they can get the same quality of pictures with their iPhones? The second part, no, I honestly don't care. If you think so, great. What's the hardest part of taking live pictures? You have to be aware all the time what's happening around you. Either it's the crowd or the stage. Just be aware. Mr. Parquez, how are you so fucking cool? Well, thank you. Also, more seriously, what is your style of editing? Like the LEC flicker is absolutely beautiful, and it's a lot of how I like to shoot edit, really dark, lots of contrast. Basically, you said the whole thing. I tend to use a lot of contrast on doing the classical S-curve on the photos. I like to bring out the shadows as much as I can, but still maintain the high contrasty and vibrant style of photos. Okay, I am a boomer, apparently. I don't feel old. But every single week I communicate with our social media team. So we pinpoint a couple of players that we want to specially focus on. I try to take as much backstage photos as I can to start up the story, then follow the player, how he prepares, trying to find him in kind of the mental zone, if you will, when he's concentrating, thinking about the game, preparing himself, then follow him on the stage. That's basically how I try to tell the story. And again, I don't feel old. What's the difference when I first started it and now? As I said before, there was very few like full-on esports photographers. Now we have a lot of talented people in the industry. What's your go-to camera if you could only bring one to every event? Like I'm shooting Sony A9, and that would be my go-to camera. It basically takes care of everything that I need and I want from a camera. Fingers or toes? Fingers. Sasha, why did you choose Sony, and could you give us a list of your gear? That would be quite a list. Well, why I choose Sony? First of all, when I switched, it was like 3 or 4 years ago. I wanted to like scale down from Canon. First of all, the lenses were super bulky. The 1DX Mark II was heavy as beep. 5D Mark III as well. I've tried Sony A7R II and I fell in love with the dynamic range, with the small form factor of the camera. And basically, after that, I decided, hey, let's try it on and see how it works. Shortly after that, Sony announced the R3. Which was a huge improvement over the R2, especially when it comes to battery life, the ergonomics. And again, the sensor got improved so much that it basically worked in every single environment that I've encountered. The low light was great. The resolution was amazing, even too much for my taste when it comes to events, because 42 megapixels is a lot. And after that, I bought the A7 III, and after another year, I decided to go and buy 2 A9s, so I have the same bodies with me all the time, so I don't have any color shifts between the photos, which speeds up my editing and so on. List of my gear, I have 2 A9s, 14 to 24 Sigma 2.8, 24 to 70, 70 to 200 G Masters, 3514 from Zeiss, 5518 Zeiss, 8518 and 135 G Master. Kia Ming, what lens do you use for events, and do you always have more than one camera body so you can switch between the different lenses quickly? Yes, I always shoot and I always have with me 2 camera bodies. First of all, on one body I have a wide angle lens, on the second one I have a telephoto lens, so I don't have to switch and lose time. Second of all, why I have 2 bodies is if one fails, I always have another one to finish up an event. That's basically it, just redundancy and ease of use. Kilter, you always seem to capture the most intense emotional reactions. Is that natural instinct, practice, or just patience? I would say a combination of all 3 of them. As I said previously, I like to research players, teams, and so on, so I know what to expect from what player. Also, like patience is a big factor, and And on top of that, spending time with the players, getting to know them helps a lot. Okay, guys, that's it. That was a lot of questions. If I didn't read some of the questions, is basically you guys asked the same thing. If you want me to do more videos like that, or maybe some tutorials, let me know in the comments. Take care.